Good Friday. It is Friday, right?
It's Friday.
Good Friday evening, everybody. How you doing? I'm Andy Vitale, host of My Fight, Our War. And it's Friday night here in Detroit. And we're just hanging out with OG Rocket and her Sunflower. And hold on. Hold on.
Don't leave Groot out. There you go.
There's my Groot. Groot's here. Susie the Wonder Dog's in her chair sleeping right now. Mm-hmm. But I hope you guys had a great week. We just been doing our thing here in Detroit, dealing with a little bit cooler fall weather. Love it. Gotta love it. And not only that, but as you can see, there's a reason I always represent Detroit. Yay. And that's also because our Tigers are playing tonight, and we're going into Game 5. And if we win, we advance. So go Tigers.
Yeah.
But we also usually have a guest come on every now and then with us. We're very lucky. We have two. We got two. And you can see, yep, from Talking Trash, we've got Jim Leibel.
Oh, Jesus.
And we're going to remove OG.
Bye.
And we also have the one and only Kajsa.
Hey.
What's happening, folks?
Hey. What's
going on?
Doing great.
Man, thank you guys so much for last minute. I know it's just, hey, you want to come on? Let's do a show together. I've bothered you guys before. And actually, the last time was you were mid-flight because you guys were heading, because Kajsa was going to be a guest speaker. But before we get to all that, let's just get a little background on you both. And so, people obviously have seen you in the past, but a lot of things happen.
But you're here now in the big
You're here
time.
now at My Fight, Our War. So, Jim, let's start with Jim, the Chiefs Leibel, with the Hanson Brothers jersey
Put the foil on, Coach.
Slap shot.
Just playing with my toys.
Yeah, Jim, why don't you just kind of let everyone know who you are and give a little bit of a shout out with you. And I try to get
Thank you for asking myself and Kajsa to join you tonight, Manny. Well, I kind of like the history. I saw Manny on another recovery podcast that was based out of Saskatchewan, where I'm from. I'm Canadian, and asked him to be on our podcast that I'm part of called Talking Trash. And he's kind of a bit of a regular, and the graphics that you see at the beginning of the show is done by producer Tim, very talented person in recovery, and we just have a lot of fun. And with the recovery community, we all find our herd, right? And we have a lot of fun. Yeah, there's a lot of bull in our herd, but that's okay.
Oh, you know what, and that's exactly
play with the bull, man. You gotta mess with the horns.
You gotta mess with the horns, man. You play with you get the horns, and that's why I love this family at My Fight, Our War. Same thing, and then we have Kajsa, who your personality. This is so the energy that you have is so contagious, man. I just love you and thank you so much. Well, tell a little bit about you.
Well, I'm Kajsa. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. I'm 5 years, 10 months sober as of yesterday. So
congratulations.
Coming up on my 6 years, super excited about it. I met Jim on one of my Facebook pages that I manage, and I had been on Talking Trash, and Jim knew that, and so we got Jim on, and then Jim asked me to come up to Regina, Saskatchewan. Yes, it's called Regina, and
the city that rhymes with fun.
And to tell my story at their 72nd AA roundup.
That was about a month ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was I left. I went there on the 17th of September.
Okay.
See, and
So I
we
was
were
there
just
5 days.
talking about that before we went on, because like everyone knows, man, I just go live whenever, unless we have a lineup like tonight. It was advertised that you guys are going to be on, and on Mondays usually we have people who tell their stories and their testimonies. But other than that, it's just like, hey, it's Tuesday. What the hell? It's Saturday. Let's go. Let's just have.
Yeah.
I never wanted my Fight Award to be like anyone else's show, just or like a cookie cutter. It's just like you are who you are, we are who we are, as far as people, individuals. Don't try to change anyone. Let's just accept who we are and have a good time, like you said, Jim. And the people that we come together at my fight. I'm just looking up at the comments with Jacqueline and John, and with Vincent. Just this amazing family that has come about since we started My Fight Our War and the other platforms. It's just amazing. It's just such a close family, and the recovery is all part of it. And that's just why I'm so glad you guys are here. But what was this event, Jim? That you were?
Okay, so I'm involved. Hi, my name is Jim, and I'm a grateful alcoholic in recovery. I'm almost 4 years in December, and so every year it's like a conference. And what we do is we have speakers that have that have recovery, and they got great messages, and we all get together for fellowship, and we just have a great time. And just the people, like, this is my fourth roundup in Regina that I've been involved with. Like, I was in the program of AA for 20 years. Was I in recovery? No, I was what they call the dry drunk. And so I take my recovery very seriously now. And Kajsa's got a great message. So, yeah, we brought her up here. We had a great old time. And the time just flew by. It really did. And we tried to – I did my best to be a nice host. And she was gracious. And we made some new connections. And, yeah, but that's the great thing about being in that recovery community, Manny. The people that you meet. Yeah, it's amazing. And I consider – a lot of them close to them, just like family that know a lot more than my whole family actually knows. So it's kind of scary. They got the dirt on me.
I've said that so many times. When I first started My Fight Our War, which was almost 3 years ago now, I remember the first second week into it. I would sleep about an hour, 2 hours a night. I was so blown away by it. Different time zones and just the closeness of everybody. And I remember watching the comments. People were just supporting each other, complimenting each other. And then all of a sudden I saw there was a couple that, hey, having a hard time. I'm afraid I'm going to relapse. And all of a sudden it wasn't one or two. It was like 5, 10 comments. Hey, you got this. You're not alone. Message me, call me. And we were only around for 2 weeks. 2 weeks prior, none of us knew. There was no My Fight. There was nothing. And I'm looking, it's message me. Here's my number. Call me anytime. And I went on and I'm like, look at this. You are sharing deep, painful comments and things with people you've never met, but you've got that camaraderie that you can relate what they're going through. And like Jim, you just said it. We're sharing our stories with people that our own closest friends and family don't know. And so that's that bond you were talking about. Now, Kajsa, you were a guest speaker at that event.
Yeah.
Now, have you done that before? Were you ever the speaker, or were you the highlight?
I mean, I've told my story many times around my area here in Houston, Spring, Texas, but never have I been invited to go to another country to tell my story. And they wanted me to come so bad they paid for my airfare.
Wow.
My hotel and my food.
Woo!
And so, I was always told when somebody reaches out to you, you never say no, because your story, you just keep telling it, and it does change as time goes on because you change and stuff. But somebody always needs to hear what you've been through, because they just need to hear like a couple of words and they're like, oh yeah, that right there, and then it gives them hope. And that's what we want to do. We want to give people hope so they will continue, and try to get sober and stay that way, whatever program it is you want to work,
Yeah.
but that's what.
that's something like you just said about you'll tell. See, someone told me that too because I was talking to our producer in New York, Matt Cronin, and we were talking about telling my story and how it all started by doing what you just said. We tell our story, and that's how I started my Fight Our War, by telling my story. And then it got to the point where we're bringing all these people on as guests and all that, and I had a couple people that were new to the family say, "Well, how did this come about?" And I go, "Well, I already told my story." And Matt's like, "Not everyone saw it, Manny. You got to tell it more than once. Keep telling it." And not only that, but what you just said too, people will. I had someone say one time, "I don't think I want to do the show." Because I've been watching some of the shows. They were scheduled like 2 weeks down the road. So they were watching guests before them. And I remember she goes, "My story is not nearly as intense, and the drugs and the violence in the jail. It's not, people aren't going to get anything from mine." I'm like, no, somebody will. Like you said, Kajsa, sure as shit, as soon as she started talking, the comments lit up. Someone's going to pick up on something. Have you found that, Jim? How, you'll tell.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
Kajsa's like, "Oh, well, can I talk about my drug history?" And I'm like, it's your story. But I think back, I'm in the program AA and I have a sponsor. You know what? It works for me. That's what keeps me sober just for today. A lot of people don't go to AA meetings. Some people haven't been to recovery. Some people don't work the steps. But if they're staying away from their drug of choice or no choice just for today, you know what? Good for them. I won't never tell somebody what to do. I just say tell them what worked for me. And everybody's story is different. Everybody has a story to tell. We just haven't heard them all. But you look back, even like 10 years ago, if you went to an AA meeting and you mentioned the word drugs, you're out of there. But a lot of people, like all the people I sponsor, who I help in the program, are drug addicted alcoholics. Addiction is addiction is addiction. It doesn't matter if it's Coke or vodka or whatever. It's an addiction. It's a disease of not just the body, it's of the mind. And that's the biggest part of getting through each day, is working through that. I'm not a bad person. I just have a disease. I admit it, and I'm never going to be cured. I don't want to be cured. I know a lot of people say, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm happy that I'm an alcoholic. I have a better life because I recognize I'm sick. I have a disease, but I can have a better life because I can address it. Just for today.
Yeah.
And that's that's the toughest part of it.
When it comes to, like you just said, it doesn't matter what it is. Food. It doesn't matter if it's something that you need,
shopping,
and not something that you want. Need and want, two different things. If you need it, it's an addiction. Just like you said. And we are in my fight. We are just what you just said. I will never, ever, ever tell someone you have to do this. Because for me, my story is very different, because it'll be going on 6 years in January for me. So back in 2020, COVID shut the world down.
Yeah.
And when I got out of the hospital, they said, you need intensive 24/7 inpatient recovery. You need everything that's possible. You're going to die, Don't even look at alcohol. Don't even think about it. Well, I came out and I went to where I was supposed to go, and we're closed. Big sign. The ladies picks up the phone. She goes, "If you have any cravings, withdrawal, suicidal thoughts, go to ER." Because everything was closed. So I never, ever went to a meeting. I never had a sponsor. I never did any steps. I never did any virtual anything. I never did anything. By the grace of God, I've never had any cravings or anything like that. So, but what you said about, the different, like AA, I've never done it. And to be, well, I shouldn't say that. I did. I walked into a meeting one time after I went and bought a pint, drank half the pint. Then I walked in just to grab the paperwork and bullshit with someone, get a name so I could walk out, go to some family members, hand them the pamphlets and say, I talked to Jim at AA. I didn't feel comfortable in that surrounding. but that's me personally.
And that's fine. But one thing you said was by the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I never say the G word. I was raised Catholic, spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch. It's all about a power greater than yourself.
Yes.
You can put whatever name you want on it. And that's the basis of life. You don't have to. And people really, that's a real stickling point when people go back out or whatever. They think that they are their own higher power. I am the first one to admit, no way. I am here. I don't know what the reason is. I still haven't figured it out, but I think it has something to do with recovery. I think it has a huge part. And
I think you're right.
I'm grateful for it. And I think that's what kind of ties us all together is that bond of, hey, we want to help people. And we don't want anything. I don't want anything in return. I don't. I don't want to have a barter system or a transaction. It's not business. I'll just give to you freely what was given to me.
Exactly. And Kajsa, just like for you, we were chit-chatting a little bit, about different things coming up and doing more and helping more people and sponsoring. And I just picked on something you said about one of the pages that you work with on social media, along with all the other stuff. That's one thing with us in recovery. No one would blame us three right here is in recovery if we solely focused on ourselves and our loved ones to be the best us we can be after all we did to them earlier, just took care of us. But that's not what we do. We do this. We reach out and we go to seminars and you were guest speakers and we give and we help people. And Kajsa, that's what you're doing with, the people that you're sponsoring right now. How does that go for you? Because they're hearing it from you you've gone through it. God bless our counselors and coaches, but some of them have never had the experiences that we have. So how's that working for you with your people?
Well, it's an honor to be asked to sponsor somebody. Now, I had a girl several years ago that I sponsored, took her all the way through the steps. She is still sober. We're still friends and all that, but she's moved on to new sponsorship. But recently, I just acquired 2 new sponsees. One of them is in Johannesburg, South Africa. So, and I met her on the sober page on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other gal is one gal in my home group. And it turns out that I knew her back in the early 80s when I worked in the bars. And here it is all these. Oh, absolutely.
Back in the day?
From back in the day. I mean, we're talking like 1984.
No
that
kid.
was a good year.
And I saw her and I said, is your name such and such? And she said, yeah. I was like, and you were married to so-and-so? And she's like, yeah. I go, yeah, I remember. Yeah. So it's crazy, all these years later. So as she asked me to sponsor her and I said, yes. Yeah. So now we're able to meet up a couple of nights a week now since I have a little more time. And, we did finish step 1. So we'll meet Wednesday and start step 2. But, it's just really interesting to hear what they've been through. And then, I always add what I went through. But there's always something that's the same, with our stories. Yeah. And sponsoring somebody, that keeps me sober. Helping other people keeps me, living a wonderful, happy, joyous, and free life. I'm not saying that shit doesn't get crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like today I was supposed to have my 3rd Medicaid appointment because I'm putting my mom in a nursing home and the lady didn't show up.
Oh,
nice.
So hey, you know what? I got out of work for a couple hours. Is great. But another thing is there's some stuff that I need to get them information from my mom. I can't because of the government shutdown.
Oh,
so,
right. There's a lot of the stuff because I listen to all the different shows and hosts and stuff to learn new things. And like for me, and it's just for me, when I said I didn't do anything as far as meetings and all that, I didn't, and I still don't. But what I do here doing these shows is my recovery. Hearing like
You help
talking to you
people.
guys and sharing, and like Kajsa, something you just said is something I bring up on the shows when I have guests on. I'll always start, especially when I'm in New York when we're doing it in person. I'm like, let's get to know each other. How are the younger years growing up? What was your childhood like? And a lot of it does matter because some of them, like my nephew Bo, his first memories, like around 4 years old, are being thrown to the ground as bullets are ripping through the window and wall as they're trying to kill his dad, who was a drug dealer. As a 4-year-old, yeah, that was normal.
No.
But then I had another guest on who's literally dad was a doctor, mom's a lawyer. They had a housekeeper. He said, remember I can't remember his name. He goes, I didn't want for anything. Anything I wanted, I had. They both ended up in the trap house. During this winding road, total strangers, all of a sudden, doesn't matter, addiction. Our stories are so different, but Kajsa, you nailed it. When it gets down to the core, our stories are so much the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was in rehab, and because Manny, I'm like I know that your sobriety date is just January 27th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I for some reason I remember things like that, and so I'm December 9th. So you actually would have, if you got to rehab when I was there. I'd have just been leaving as you came in, but I guess I got there in time. But anyway, my point was, these people would come in from different groups and talk to us, and I remember this lady saying, she was from CA, and she said, "You know what? When I came in here, I was insane." And just hearing those words out of her mouth made me go, "Oh my God, I'm in the right place." Just somebody saying they were crazy. I was like, I feel you. Oh my God. It was
I'm
awesome.
home.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, as time went on, then I got out. I was able to go to AA, and then I did get on Zoom because I think it was like March 3rd or 6th or something. Everything shut down. I was freaking petrified. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because now I can't go to a meeting. I was considered an essential employee, so I had to get up and go to work, which I absolutely needed to do, not sit at home and isolate myself, which I always did when I was drinking and, carrying on with the drugs and stuff. So I get up and go to work. But then afterwards, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then I discovered Zoom meetings, which totally helped me. And at the same time, I was working the steps with my sponsor, so I could go over to her every Saturday morning. We'd go work the steps together. And so and then I hear you, just did it on your own. It's amazing.
It was.
What was your sober date? December what?
December the 9th.
December 9th, 2019, the year of our Lord. Yeah.
And that's
Lord.
Hearing, you were talking about your story about how the liver failure and all that, and listening to that, because I was, like I said, as yellow as a banana from nose to toes. I was as yellow, and I'll never forget that day. And the crazy thing is, I don't know if it was like 15 years prior, is when I told my story. That's when I climbed into the hospital bed with my best friend since 3rd, 4th grade, Jerry. And I held him when he took his last breath, and he died in my arms. And I remember, our buddies were around the bed. And I said, what a terrible way to die. Fast forward 15 years, I'm laying in that bed, and yellow as a banana, and the doctors are telling me you're going to be, your kidneys, liver, and pancreas have all shut down. There's nothing we can do. Hospice is here. You're going to be dead in less than 6 weeks. And I never cried. I just sat there. It was like almost like I give up. And I remember thinking of Jerry, and now it's almost like survivor's remorse. It's like, why am I here? Why not him? Why this? And it reminded me of something that you said, Jim, too. It's like, I had a nurse one time when I had one of my million surgeries come out to do a dressing change, and he was looking at my history. And he's like, shot, stabbed, this. He goes, you're here for a reason. And, I've just like you, Jim, born and raised Catholic. I always went to church when I was little because grandma had this year, ma had that pulling me. But people go, well, did you come to God moment? No, it was never like that. Afterwards, now I will never tell someone's, as far as faith or religion or politics, ever. That's something I was raised you don't do. But Jim, like you, I don't care. My faith is everything. I will never push mine on anyone, but you nailed it. You have to have faith in whatever. That one time I was on a roll and I go, I don't care what your faith is. I don't care if you're praying to a dead possum's asshole. I go, you pray to that dead possum's asshole. And I look over and she's going, what? And I was like, I'm on a roll. All of a sudden, comments were popping up. Manny, I'm fixing to start a cult. I'm going to go find a dead possum and we're going to pray to its asshole. But, just stuff like that, man, is, trying to find the lighter side. And, it just to show that there's life after addiction, that addiction's only a word. It's not a death sentence.
Jim,
you guys are proof.
Jim, when is your sober date?
December 6th, 2021. So coming up 4 years.
Okay.
Congratulations, man.
I journal all the time, and I was like day 14, 30, whatever the hell. But you know what? It starts with day one, and that's what it is. It just starts with that first step, and it just keeps going. Like I sponsor a guy. He's one of my best friends. 27 years sobriety. He's younger than me. His was through the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. But it doesn't matter how many. I've met people with 20. A good friend of mine, she had 20 years sobriety. And she went back out because something was a tipping point, right? She just lost that connection. She thought she could handle it. And so she's back to date. But you know what? I don't call it the slips. I call it a reset. You just hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
As long as you don't, there's a slip where you go back out and you use or drink or whatever. But if you relapse, when you go back to where you were and accelerate, there's stories of guys who have 30 years and then they just, I was cured after 3 months when I first came into AA. I thought, I got this shit. And those are the three worst words when you have an addiction.
Yeah.
I
Never
got
say that.
this. No, your addiction has you. Manny, like you said, whether it be eating, shopping, drugs, whatever. Everybody has an addiction at some level, but our addiction, alcoholism, unfortunately, is the slowest form of suicide out there. I lost my wife 12 years ago. She was 47 years old. We were both athletes. She did Ironman and taught fitness classes, and just within 3 years went from running an Ironman to my daughter, her dying in my daughter's arms at 15 years old, Annie. But you know what? I carried that burden for like 9 years until I went to recovery and got myself clean. But then I dealt with that rock, that burden that I'd carried, and realized, hey, it wasn't my fault. It really wasn't. That's the problem, the disease of addiction. It'll kill you, whether you're doing coke or you're drinking. Your disease will kill you. But you can
addiction is so evil.
But the good part is, once addressed, you not only go back to that reset stage, you become a better version.
Without a doubt.
I think I'm a better, I'm still an asshole, and that'll never change. My sarcasm and stuff, but I appreciate life, and it's really been hitting me lately in the morning. Take a little doggy out, and the sun's just coming up, so there's this beautiful rose sunrise, and I can see Venus, the morning star, and at night I can see the Milky Way.
Don't say Uranus.
We are just this little speck. We are just so insignificant, but if we can save one person out there, I consider that my purpose is done. And I've been asked, hey, do you think, what if a bus hit you tomorrow? You know what? I'm happy. I am finally, for the first time, I've had it all, Manny. I've had the house. I had a business. The money. Was I happy? No. I'll be happy when. And I got that. And I still chased that elusive golden ring. And it took me losing everything, almost my life, to realize. And I didn't get sober for my kids, and I got sober for me. And that's that's me being. See, well, that's kind of selfish. No, it wasn't. Because I realized that power out there had a little bit more for me to do while I'm here. And if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I've had a good time. I'll be looking out for that bus, but
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I do not want to see the news tomorrow and say,
no. But I want to die sober. I want to die clean, sober, and hopefully left a little bit of a mark. And people will say, hey, he was an okay guy.
Made a difference.
And I've seen so many people that pass before their time, and it's so sad.
Oh.
But there are lessons. There's lessons for us to learn from. We can learn from those lessons.
Just like Kajsa, when you look back, I've had people sometimes, like it's usually my mom or some people who are close to me. All of a sudden, I'll start kind of reminiscing about some of the things I did in the past. So like the violence, the anger, all these things, and I'll be talking about it, and all of a sudden they'll be like, that's the past. Just let it go, let it go. And I'm like, listen, I'm not dwelling in it. I'm remembering it. Because I'm realizing where I am and how far I came and where I was. So I don't want to forget that, because that version of me, that's me. I'm not that. No, that wasn't you. Yes, it was. It was. But like you said, this is who I am. I remember when they told me I was going to live. That was the only time I was scared, because it was like, they don't even think of drinking. Don't even look at a bottle. That's it. And I remember being terrified. I'm like, well, I'm just going to go home and stay in the basement, because I don't know how to act in public. I can't go to a sporting event. I can't go to a friend's party. I can't go to holiday parties. I can't go to the casino, or I can't go in, because I can't drink. Man, I have been having a riot. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. When you like Kajsa, when you look back where you were and where you are now, and we've all been asked this, if someone would have told Kajsa, 10 years ago that you're going to be a guest speaker doing shows talking about this and changing people's lives, and you're going to be sober. I remember there was a guy, Jim, they said when I first met him, he was sober 35 years, and I was sober for a month. And he goes, I go, how long? And he goes, yeah, I've been sober 35 years. And I go, wow. He goes, how about you? I go, only a month. And I laughed. He goes, why'd you say it like that? I go, you've been sober 35 years. That's great. He goes, you've been sober for a month. That's great. He goes, don't ever cut yourself short. He goes, Manny, I had to be sober a month before I was sober 35 years. It was like, wow. But so Kajsa, going back, I mean, he goes, when's the last time you were sober a month? I'm like, I never thought I'd be sober a week. So, I mean, looking back at your past now, did you ever think that this was possible?
No, and it's funny that you asked, because the other day I was thinking about a conversation I had with an old roommate of mine, and she was kind of getting on to me, she's like, yeah, you're a little high or something, whatever, we're all partying, and she decides that, whatever, I'm too high. And I remember saying to her, I'm always going to drink and do drugs. Just get used to that.
Ooh,
And
wow.
never in my life did I think that, that this would ever come into play for me. But like I told you, I had to go to a liver specialist. I was yellow. I was gonna die. When he told me to stop drinking the first time, I didn't. I kept on drinking. Ended up in the hospital, being rehydrated, having taken a whole bunch of booze to the hospital with me.
Oh,
I'm drinking in the hospital while I'm walking around with my little rehydration bag. I was in there for 5, I swear. So, okay, so let me just, so this is so crazy.
Answer the damn question already.
I'm insane.
I'm kidding. I kid.
Okay, well, so At that point, when I went to the doctor, my liver numbers, my GGT number was at 700. Okay. That was in October, towards the end of October 2019. I didn't stop drinking, ended up in the hospital for 5 days. 5 days before I went to rehab, which would have been December 5th, my GGT liver numbers were 3,623. So within a month, I jumped, almost 3,000 points. Yeah. And I drank for 5 days after that. Well, 4 days after that until I walked into rehab. But, 10 years ago, if you'd have told me that I was going to end up like that, I would have said, you're crazy. I've got this. Those 3 words. I didn't have shit. It had me. But luckily, I did get sober, and I never would have ever imagined that I would be doing what I am doing today after all of that. I mean, I was afraid to read out loud to anyone because I had a very abusive stepmother, and she always tells me I was stupid and all this shit. So I never wanted to read to anybody, because I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm stupid. And now I do, I read, I mess up, I laugh, I just keep going, because that's me, but at least I try. And so, yeah.
Well, that's Jim, just like with, we get out of our comfort zone and we do things that we never thought that we were going to do. And the same thing, just asked her, did you ever think that you'd be sitting here after the shape and the condition that you were in the past with the drinking, the drug, whatever condition you were in, and now being basically a role model, being someone that people can look up to? Seriously, man. I mean, believe me,
I am the poster boy.
Well, that's just like I said. I'll be the poster boy. This is what you don't want to do. But if you're going to do it, we're also the poster people for what can happen when you do it.
Well,
so I mean,
that's the whole thing. And all kidding aside, like, and I always take the shtick out of Kajsa, but she goes not 24/7. She posts things and always supporting people in recovery. And when I first saw her on that, like, I was a couple of years sober, and I started going into the sober pages, and it was like, holy shit, this is like, I want to take my recovery to that level. So I just want to say kudos to you. And that was one of the main reasons why we asked her to come up here, because and actually it was a sellout. This was the highest ticket sales in 4 years because of Miss Kajsa. Wow. So thank you, Kajsa. Yeah.
Wow.
See, Kajsa, that's what I meant about when we first came on. There's just something about you. We all have that glow of that we've been blessed. If we're still here, which us three, we're here. We've been blessed to still be here. We all know people that we've lost. By us being here, doing what we're doing, we're speaking for them. We're keeping their names and their voices alive.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. But but what you were saying about 10 years ago, no, I was that functioning. I love it. A functioning alcoholic. I was teaching a spin class while I was drinking vodka, and I was more pissed by the time I was done the class. But I was fun. Thank God I was strapped into the bike. I was clipped in physically, and I thought nobody knew. Nobody knew. I was so full of shit. Of course, it was vodka because nobody could smell it. Everything was. But even I looked back even a year ago, like, I had this job and I enjoyed it, but now I have this job or this career, and I'm like, holy crap. Like, every day I just wake up, I'm like, oh, thank you. I don't pray. Like, when I pray to my higher power, I never ask for anything. I'm always grateful. And before it was always like, oh, please give me this, please give me that. Now it's like, thank you for all the gifts that I have. And thank you for the lessons. Because, like, life is lifey. And as Kajsa said, it's a shit show. And it's not all blue skies and puppies and rainbows. Life is a shit show. It really is. And the state of the world right now, we'll get into political stuff. But yeah, you really have to keep your wits about you, and especially the people in early recovery. You were saying about the comparison of somebody with 30 years and 30 days. And when I go into, like, places of like recovery houses, or even when I go to jail to chair meetings, I look at these guys and I'm like, man, you're in early recovery, and I envy you, because you are you're having emotions that you haven't felt probably ever, or you haven't felt in years. And for me now, I need that refresher to say, hey, recovery is rented. and your rent is due every frickin' day.
Wow.
And I paid by doing something like this and sponsoring and just living a better life. But you never take it for granted. You can never say, you got to keep that foot to the gas and just keep going. And it's a journey, and there's going to be stop signs and shit. Oh yeah, the road of active addiction. Oh fuck, there's no rules. You're pulling donuts, you're drinking, you're snorting coke off the hood, but the road's about this long. And then there's a cliff or a big brick wall. That road to recovery goes on your entire life. You know?
Yeah, Jim, I said the same thing that you said, man. Please, if just this, I'll be happy then. Just please, if you now, that's why I love you guys, man. A lot of the things that I hear you guys say are things that I say are also my beliefs. Now I say every morning, me and Susie say our prayers in the morning, and she'll jump up she'll jump up right on the bed and lays her head or paws right on my hand every morning. And I always say, dear Lord, thank you for all my past blessings. Thank you for my current blessings yet to come. And again, that you brought up about this is life. Life is, even in recovery, everything's great. No, it's not great. It's life, man. It's not called, our family is not called Sunshine and Roses. It's called My Fight, Our War. This is not a game, man. We're going to come at you. If it's a fight you're looking for, we'll get in the mud and down and dirty and fight with you. I'm not afraid of a fucking addict. I mean, I've been shot, stabbed, man. If you want to get down and dirty, we'll go to that level to help pull you up. But then we're going to celebrate. We're not going to push you down, keep you down, put you under a thumb, and but we're not going to sugarcoat things either. Everything's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not fine. I mean, we all know that.
It's not a game.
Are wounded.
Yeah, exactly. But you get to a point where there's people who just don't get it. They just, and I was that way too for like 20 years. Like, I'm sorry I drank. I'm sorry I pissed on your car, whatever. But it was that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I want to get better. And I lost a lot of people in my life, and I can't change, like you say, I can't put the shit back in the dog. The rear view mirrors are there to remind you of your past. Your windshield, that's your future. But you check your mirrors and, oh shit, do I want to go back to that? No, I never close the door on the past, and I won't forget it, but I don't live there anymore. I live there. I live here in the now, in the present.
Now, what was that you guys said? You both said it, that it was, I got this. Jim, how long were you in? 3 months?
Oh, I was forced into the program of AA, and I walk in. I'm like, what a bunch of it's a freaking cult. All these guys, and I gotta pay money for shitty coffee at halftime. Like, this is crap. And you guys are a bunch of losers. Like, no. And every month you go and you get a coin, and I'm like, whatever. But you know what? I value all the little. Like, every year I get a token or something from my sponsor, and I have them all like in a special spot, and people I sponsor, like I give them chips, and then every year they get a cake. We celebrate sobriety, recovery, not only the sobriety but recovery. When Kajsa was here, we went to a meeting and we met a young man, and he was celebrating his first year of recovery. And I bring her to this room of total Yahoo drunks, and these guys were out of control. Everybody's like, big fucking deal. We do it as a joke because it is a big fucking deal, that year of recovery, because that is the toughest part. And then the work starts. It's like all that shit you've gone through. Now let's just keep going. And I keep in contact with this young man, and it's great to see, and Kajsa has said this before, when you sponsor somebody, it's like dating. When you take on the role of a sponsor, that look in their eye, that hunger, like they're hungry for what you have, that a better life, and being calm about it. Like when I first got sober, you're all hot and just, I can do this, whatever. And you just bring it down a bit, and you just remain a nice even keel. But I'm very, very committed to my recovery, and I don't. If you get before it was, you got between me and a drink, look out. Now if you get between me and my recovery, look out.
So,
And I'm very, those are one of the few boundaries I have. It's like, hey, no, you're crossing the line. No, I won't do that.
See, and that's just something you guys, because as a former police officer and also, as funny as it sounds, as a former Detroit highwayman, I notice everything. A lot of things I'll pick up on that I don't tell anyone about, that things that I hear, see, every day-to-day stuff. And with you two, it's when you talk about what you're doing and the people like Kajsa, with the people that you're sponsoring, just like you, Jim, when you guys are talking about it, you smile. The first thing you just get this glow. You can just see how much happiness it brings you. And so, the people that are your sponsors that you're sponsoring, they're benefiting, of course, by your knowledge and your caring and your person, but you could just see how much it means to you giving back. So it's contagious.
It really is. Go ahead.
One thing that I'm sorry. Yeah. One of the things that I love the fact that I can share my deepest, shittiest, most horrible, whatever, with whomever, one of my sponsees or my group, whatever. They don't even bat an eye, there's no judgment there. I mean, they may judge me in their head, but whatever, but they support me and they're like, oh yeah, I remember when I do, and it's just to feel so welcomed and accepted. I think that's probably one of the reasons why I stayed in recovery, because I was accepted. And I just,
we're
it's
family.
just life changing. Exactly.
It's family because we can, relate. It's just like, OG always says, there's no shame, there's no blame, there's no guilt. And Jim, just like when you said that lady, she goes, I'm insane. Yes. We all are.
Yeah.
And we are.
Yeah. I mean,
but good, but a good saying.
I needed to hear that though. I absolutely needed to hear somebody tell me that, because if they'd have walked in with this stick up their butt, you poorly newcomers,
we're in the wrong place.
Jody Great people.
We're in the wrong place.
Some old fruit. I wouldn't have stuck around, I'm sure.
And just being authentic, just being ourselves.
Absolutely.
I've been very honored to be able to speak at a few, events. And again, in the past, even during my drinking, but not at the point where before it was out of control. There was times just at work, I had to do an in-service one time in front of just like 2 or 3 buddies that I worked with. And I was stone cold sober, and just demonstrate this machine. Okay, well, you know what? Here, just stand up in front here so we can see what you're doing. All right. And I go up and I turn around and I see 2 or 3 of my buddies. And also I was like, I started like having a panic attack in front of 2 or 3 buddies that I've known. And it's like, and I remember telling one of them, I'm like, I don't know how these people can get in front of cameras and be in front of audiences and all this stuff. There's no way. And now I'm going live just like we are here. And just like Kajsa and Jim, going to these events as a guest speaker, being handed a microphone and seeing all these people just stare at you. It's like, I
was on a stage behind a podium with a microphone. And what was there, like 200 and how many people, Jim?
250 people.
250?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 201.5. 250. Okay, well, wow.
250, yes.
I took a picture of the venue, and I sent it to my sponsor, and she's like, "Oh my God, that looks daunting." I'm like, "Shut up." Tell me that.
Well, I'm glad I'm not you. But yeah, the same thing is just like you always hear that never say never and all these cliches. It's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But it's so true, man. And like I said, that's one thing I'll never forget that when I do these shows, I still flash back to that 20 years ago, me standing in front of a few buddies, sweaty palms, hyperventilating because I had to talk to a couple buddies by standing up in front of the class,
How long did you talk, Kajsa?
About an hour, Jim.
Yep. 1 full hour. I'll actually send you guys the recordings.
Manny,
I'll send you guys the recordings.
Definitely.
And how often have you talked to your person in Johannesburg?
Oh, well, we just started. She had asked me to sponsor her Wednesday morning. And I was like, oh my God, I really have so much going on. Let me reach out to a friend of mine. I reached out to my friend. She's like, I've got 3 girls going through the book right now. I'm like, okay. And then, something happened that freed up my time. And so I texted her Thursday morning and I'm like, hey, guess
I
what?
can do
I got
this.
some free time. And she's like, oh my God. She's all excited, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, she's nice girl.
Well, you don't
Nice
sleep
girl,
anyway, so
willing
it
to
doesn't
do.
matter. You'll be like, well, they're what, 6-7 hours
Don't
ahead?
know.
Oh,
Probably more than that.
I
yeah,
don't know.
'cause
I have it on my world clock, but I'm on my phone, so I can't look at it
Okay.
right now.
Yeah.
But I think,
you,
yeah, she's ahead.
I'm just sitting here looking at our OG's always taking care of the board and comments and
hello to
stuff like
folks.
that. But if there's anyone who is in the comments right now who have any questions at all for Kajsa or Jim, let them have it.
Show and
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
time.
If you have it, just truth or dare, anything goes. Next thing you know, play
Oh,
it
Truth or
with Jim.
dare.
Let's see. Well, Vincent is in the house. Vincent, Amber,
Amber.
and Cookies,
And
or
Cookie and Bo.
and Bo. Yep, Bo's in the
And Donald
house.
Blow.
it's like a romper room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jim.
I
Yep,
see
Jim.
Amber.
see OG and see you next
I see Jim.
Can we say hi to?
And I see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. So if anyone has any
I need a
questions,
Pepsi.
A Pepsi.
a Pepsi.
A Pepsi.
Got
A
it, Tool.
Pepsi.
We got the shenanigators, both the shenanigators.
Hey, shenanigans.
So yeah, that's Jacqueline and Amber. You get those two together. Look out. But yeah, if anyone has anything they want to ask them before we wind things up. But yeah, man, that's just the one thing I love too is just new ideas. Just hearing the stories because you learn every day, man. And a lot of times it's just hearing people's stories, and it's not like you both said. I'm not here to tell you how to do it. You do it my way. This is the only way. I actually had a guest one time when I first started. This guy, he was, before coming on, he said all the right stuff, motivating as can be. It was like, damn, we'll get you on. And we're talking, and actually, I mean, he was doing the steps, and we were talking about that, and he said he wanted to talk about other options as well, which we all do. And someone had a comment about, yeah, I tried that and it just wasn't for me. Did you ever try anything else besides that? And he goes, yeah, but if you don't do that, you'll fail. The only way to do it is through AA, is the steps. If you don't, you will never succeed. And I was just like, whoa. I mean, he literally just started going off, and I actually had to cut him off. But no, I just love how it's someone asked me, how do you do it? It's, you do it your way, whatever your way is. We'll tell you, like Jim, you said, I'll tell you what happened to me. Kajsa will tell you your story, OG's story, all of our stories. Take your pick. And if the one you pick doesn't work, pick another one and just keep picking until you find what works.
Well, the thing I really love about talking to people who want what we have, and they're telling the story, and I just listen, and I can honestly say when they're done, I can go, me too. And there's always some common thread, and our stories are different, whether it be alcohol, drugs. We share that common thread of suffer, and we're just done. We're just, whether the highs or lows, but we just go through so much pain to find who the hell we really are, and we escape through. Like mine was drinking, and I never was. It just got worse. That void, my soul to fill, and you know what, to fill it up with now with just inner peace and the restoration of hope. And like I don't need the $1 million and all that. You know what? I'm healthy. I got a great job. I got a great life, and you know what? I'm with the people I want to be with. I don't need the people to elevate me up, to make me feel good. I don't need the ego boost, and I actually need it sometimes to be brought down to a lower level. I got my little wonder dog here, my little alcoholic dog. He's running around, little Casey.
Casey.
But it's just all these things in my life. I sometimes I just stop during all the chaos of the day and I just reflect and say, holy shit, am I lucky? And people will say, oh, my car. You have a car? Oh, my boss is an asshole. You got a job? Oh, the food sucked. You actually got food? Oh, I don't like this designer jack. You got clothes. Like, you're alive, man. You're alive. You're breathing for today. And you know what? You can just make it better. Just keep going and help those people. Like, yeah, okay, like we call them the old timers in the program of AA. And a lot of them just stick to the rules and like you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And my sponsor, he's like 47 years sober, but he's like my dad. And we can bullshit each other. But he just before I accepted this new job, and he goes, just trust your higher power, trust God, you know? And I did. And he always, every time I go see him at least once a week, and he always says, Jim, I love you and I'm so proud of you. And that just, wow, you know? And I never would have met this man if I wouldn't, number one, admit that I'm an alcoholic and I have a problem, and started listening to, I took the cotton bat out of my freaking ears and put it in my mouth and just shut the hell up and just took direction. Like they say, you don't have to believe in God. God is good, orderly direction, whatever you want to call it, and just stick with the winners. You know, we didn't get here, as Kajsa always says, we didn't come here on a winning streak. You know, we didn't come here winning the Academy Award. I won the Asshole of the Year award. Is what I did. But
I've been in the running there with you, brother.
Oh man, I've been nominated every year since.
Yeah. And you know, Kajsa, I was listening to you the other day, and I remember looking at OG, and I said, "There you go, man. Some of the things you were saying are, the same things and thoughts that I have that I like to share." And one of them, I was at the gym, and we did a video. It was like a year ago, and I was talking all about mindset and all about choosing your words. I go, your own words will set you up for victory or failure. Your own words. And I swear to God, it's back here somewhere in the archives. I said, you know what? You got someone, shit. How was your day? Well, I got up late. I was late for work because then I had to stop and get gas. And then, not only that, I missed lunch because I had to work through lunch. And then the boss asked me to work overtime. It's like, and he bitch. And it was like, well, wait a minute. Same thing. First of all, you woke up in a bed. You got up late. You got up. Let's see. You had to stop and get gas. You had money to pay for it. You worked overtime. You've got a job. So Kajsa, you had something like that you were talking about. And it's so true, man. You could have someone just throw a bunch of shit at you, and it's not shit. It's just how they feel. And it's true life feelings. Turn it around. Okay. What if you got up late and you didn't have a job? Okay, well, you missed lunch that one day, but at least you have food, dinner, all these things. So you could be your own best friend or your own worst enemy.
It's all about attitude. It's about attitude. And I always say the energy that you put out comes back. So if all you're doing is, sons of bitches, I'll show them, they did this to me and all, blah, 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 it's going to come back. And not today. So I always try to put out, and sometimes it really sucks, but put out as much positive energy as like, oh, yes, I feel so good. I
had a situation last year. We had a Hurricane Beryl, and I lost power for 8 days in the month of July in Houston, Texas. I'll tell you what, I was tested. I was tested because I was sitting there. My mom had a box fan. First of all, I was afraid she was going to die in the heat, which she was fine. But I remember laying there in my bed and I started to cry. And I was like, what are you crying for? Because since I am in recovery, I really don't cry that much. I guess I deal with my emotions better. I don't know. Unless I'm having a spiritual experience when I'm walking, then I'll cry. But serious, listening to Robert Plant, watching the sun come up, magical things happen to me. Okay, so I was laying there and I was like, and then I said, hold on just a minute, honey. Don't you go down that rabbit hole. You flip that script right now. And so I was like, okay, all right, I've got a roof over my head. I have a comfortable bed. I've got my stove is gas, so I can cook. I do have food. I had to put ice on it, anyway. I did end up having to throw it all away, but whatever. I had money to buy more. I had my truck that had AC in it, and I could go get in my truck and charge my phone and drive down to the end of the street to get cell service, So I flipped that script, and what I went from being like a blubbering mess, sweaty mess, just no fun, to not, to coming out of it. I was still sweaty, but I could go get in my truck. Yeah. But, it really, it absolutely, you've got to have gratitude. You've got to.
Oh, without a doubt.
And your plumbing was working during your power outage, right?
Absolutely. All of it.
There you go. Okay. You could lay in a nice, cool tub of water.
Oh, and I have a pool in the backyard.
Oh, hello. There you go.
The neighbors loved her, like, party at Kajsa's.
Oh, it used to be wild out there during the years of drinking. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh, see, and that was just it too, man. I've had, people that I've talked to, and because there's times where I'll talk about jumping on the Harley, going out to the bars and doing this and that, and I've been questioned a few times. They're like, talking about going to the casinos and doing this, doing that. I'm like, why not? And there's some guests I've had come on that can't even go into like the section in a grocery store where the liquor is, because it just triggers them. And don't do it then. I mean, don't do it. I'm not telling you these things to tempt you. I'm just letting you know what I do, that there is life, with addiction. And for me, I have a very good friend who has been sober. I think it's like 35 years. And that's pretty much her life, is recovery, meetings constantly and all that. And she is amazing. She's doing such a great job, but that's her life, is just, and there's nothing wrong with that. To whatever keeps you happy and sober, I'm all for it. But for me, like I said, it's like, I've had people say, oh man, you don't take this serious. You're talking about partying and this and having fun and doing this. I'm like, you're damn right. What's the use of being in recovery and sober and alive and not have fun? And long as I'm doing it sober, I'm gonna, just like you said, Jim. I had someone, I keep talking about this meme a good friend Christy sent me, and it said, man, I saw this and it made me think of you. And it said, in alcohol's defense, I've done some pretty fucked up shit perfectly sober. And it's just like, yes, I have.
Yeah.
But it just.
Well, I call it like the mental obsession. Like I know that it's poison, and I've come to realize that, and I'm okay with that. At one point, if you told me, even before I went into recovery, I could never drink again, I will. How will I ever have fun? I have way more fun. We had a hoot. Like, I was only here for 3 days. We had a hoot. I took her. My daughter works at a dispensary where they sell weed. You know what? And we just had a hoot. And then we went to go see my other daughter. Well, her boyfriend he sometimes hits the bong too, and walks there. There's a big bong sitting on the table. And you know what? It's just, I don't tell them. They're smart enough to know, and they're just so grateful every day that Dad is. They always end every conversation, Dad, I love you. And, and I'm proud of you. But I don't take that for granted, because I am so blessed. And it's pretty. I love recovery. I love the people in it, but it's just, I love it. I just love it. It's such a fucking mouth.
I love that.
Oh, I love that shot.
See, and that's what I mean with you guys. That's why I really wanted you both on. First and foremost, just because you two are both amazing, and I love you guys. Have a lot of respect for you, and but it's just to show, we can do this. We could just sit around and bullshit, have fun, talk about a serious subject while having fun, and still, attack this subject. And, we're going to wind this down here. But before that, we'll start with Kajsa. For the person who's maybe watching this, who thinks how we did, that there's no way I could be sober for more than a week. I'm not like them. I'm not strong. I'm this, just the having the foot on the throat and thinking they can't do it. What would just be some advice for someone who is thinking that they can't do it?
Okay. If I can do it, you can do it. And there are so many people out there that are willing to help you. So please reach out. Please reach out and don't ever stop trying, because it is so possible and you can live a wonderful, free life and happy, joyous, and free. Don't ever stop. Just keep reaching out.
Yeah,
that's
so true.
That is so key
So
too,
true.
because I had my little brother Kevin, who passed away, his dad, my brother Rick, they were on the show, and when we signed off, just like we doing this, he stopped. He goes, "Man, I just want to let people know, I don't care who it is, the loved one who is dealing with this, as the person trying to help them, don't ever stop trying to help them. No matter, I tried everything, start over, do it again. Don't ever stop trying." Jim, what do you got for
what do I got? What words of wisdom?
What
words of wisdom? Yeah.
Oh, I would say live the dash. And people say, what the hell are you talking about? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I got that. I like
on your tombstone, you have your date of birth and this little line, and then the year of your passing. That dash is that time while you're here on earth. And that dash can be as long as, well, and things happen. Like I've been to so many funerals. I'm sure, Manny, growing up Catholic, you've probably been to a lot of open casket funerals. I know as a child it was kind of traumatic. But watching people pass from addiction I always think that could be me in that hole. Right? So just live the dash. You have no idea what tomorrow holds. Today isn't done. Just live the dash. And you know what? Just live life to the fullest. And have fun. Have fun. And don't be a dick. That's a good one too. That's always a good way to end it off.
Don't be a dick and help people.
Exactly. Bingo.
There you go.
We have a wiener.
I tell you, you can't put it any better than that. And that, like I said, man, you guys, I love you guys. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I don't know how the hell you do this every day. You are nuts, man.
No,
yeah.
Well, no, I'm insane.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
In the membrane.
You're crazy, man.
But seriously, man, thank you guys so much, and we will be doing this again. Trust me, we are going to be doing this again. For all you guys who've been watching and the comments and all that, thank you for sharing your time with us. And just like you heard them, man. Just never give up, never stop trying, and just reach out, man. And like I always like to say, is addiction's only a word; it's not a death sentence. Yep. And keep fighting a good fight. So I love you guys. Thank you so much, and we will be talking to you again real soon. You're welcome. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Well, OG.
Yeah, I like that.
I tell you what, Kajsa and Jim, Tim, Will, the people that we've met are just incredible. All you guys, your comments. I saw them blasting by here. I saw you typing away. So thank you guys for your comments. I really didn't get a chance to read through much of them because I was just going back and forth with both of Jim and Kajsa. But thank you for your comments, man. Really appreciate it. We'll be going through, and I'll be going through them as well and answering if there's anything. Like Kajsa said, man, if you know someone and they're having issues, just have them reach out, man. If and another thing too is, don't assume someone else is going to do it. Well, they've got a lot of friends. They've got a big family. They'll be fine. Next thing you know, they're dead because you could be surrounded by the biggest group of friends and the biggest family and be 100% alone. So it was a great time, man. Thank you guys for spending your Friday night with us. And Vincent, thank you for your comments, man. Tyler
came on late.
Tyler, you have a great night. And I see Tyler's going to have Thomas coming on we'll see you and Thomas on Knocking Out Addiction. Tyler Thomas is going to have him on. I think it's Saturday, you said. So check out Knocking Out Addiction with Tyler and Thomas. And like I said, we'll go through and check out everyone else. But have a great weekend. Enjoy, and we will be chit-chatting real soon. Love you guys. Keep fighting a good fight.
Bye now.